Welcome to Mondays with Vish. It's Monday. That's Vish. I'm Grant. Niners are going to the playoffs, and we're switching up the format of the show a little bit. Vish is a senior in college. He's back in school. He's got 2 classes today. We're going to make this a little bit tighter of a show. 60 minutes. Sometimes we go overboard.
Usually.
3 topics. We're talking Jimmy, Kyle, and the Cowboys. Of course, you want to hear about the Cowboys. We're going to make you wait for that. If you have questions, we'll answer them, but don't ask about those 3 things because we're going to answer them. So I'm just letting you know. Vish, good to see you.
Good to see you too, Grant. I'm excited. You got to see that game in person. That's awesome.
It was one of the more thrilling experiences of my professional career for sure. We already have one question. Let's hit it real quick. Anthony, thank you. Grant, we both owe Eric Armstead an apology. He finally balled. Saved our asses. Vish, I'm still cutting the F up because I told you Jim couldn't hit that throw Trey made versus Seattle to Deebo. Shout out Ambry's interception and Trey for beating Houston. Anthony's still in a great mood.
That's hilarious because yes, everybody owes Eric Armstead an apology. He has balled out the second half of this season.
He was so clutch. I mean, everyone's saying that Jimmy was really clutch in this game. Eric Armstead was clutch. Deebo Samuel was clutch. I mean, if Jimmy was clutch, these guys were clutch too. Armstead almost more than anyone. The sack in the end of the first half, the sack at the end of the second half. Wow.
He was unblockable all game. Can I say something?
Please.
I've never seen DeForest Buckner dominate a game to the extent that I saw Eric Armstead dominate yesterday.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I wish Eric Armstead could do this consistently, but it's amazing to know that he can do this.
Yeah. Because this yesterday, Eric Armstead was the best interior defensive lineman on the field, and Aaron Donald played in that same game.
Ooh, well put. Shout out Eric Armstead, who is a big fan of the show. Brittany says, McVay reminded me of P. Diddy always dancing in other people's rap videos during TD celebrations. Vish has no idea what you're talking, Brittany, but I do.
Yeah,
very
I don't
funny.
Know who P. Diddy is.
You don't even know who P. Diddy is? That's so cute. Anyway, I'm sorry. He was quite big in the 90s, also the 2000s. He was
from the 90s.
He was the guy who discovered Biggie. I mean, he was the producer for Bad Boy Records. Yeah, P. Diddy. Puff Daddy. Anyway, Puff Daddy was very narcissistic, and he would be in the rap videos. He would dance and stuff, and he would kind of rap and stuff, but he was a pretty good dancer, I will say that. But anyway, yeah, McVay, why are you on the field right now? The game is a lot of game left. That was a bad look for him.
He wanted it so bad.
And that's why he didn't get it. Glad for the win, great comeback, but we would not have been behind if Jimmy Garoppolo was better. He had 2 interceptions, a fumble, and 1 good drive. Kyle Shanahan should have played Trey Lance. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about it coming up. But first, I want to talk about Kyle Shanahan. There was a funny interaction that Vish and I had on Twitter. So I was really piling on the Niners as they were down 17-0. I couldn't wait, and I just went for it. I wrote, Kyle Shanahan is responsible for this, and I didn't say what this was. Well, the game changed. They won, and you quote tweeted and says, "Yes, he is!" ! Which is a really funny way to turn that because damn right, he's responsible for that 27-7 run. So what did you see from Kyle in this game and in this season?
Honestly, so there's a lot of things that I think he's done well this season. I think there's some things that he could have done better. To quote him, by no means was he perfect. But the thing that to me stood out, and I think it stood out for the 49ers, and I think it's a product of who their head coach is they fight in every game. They don't quit. They battle in every game. Every player seems ready to give it all and compete. And I think that's a really interesting thing about Kyle Shanahan. And Joe Buck and Troy Aikman mentioned it on the broadcast. But typically when you have a veteran team with this many players on 1-year contracts and you start 2-5 and you're 3-5, that's usually your season because everybody starts thinking about making personal business decisions because they're thinking about where they're playing next year. In the case of the 49ers, nobody quit and they were able to battle back. They were able to save their season. And to me, that's a product of the culture that Kyle Shanahan has cultivated for the last 5 years. And it's a product of, I guess, who he is as a head coach. I guess the fact that he is such an honest and upfront person, and he's that same honest and upfront person in losses and wins. He says by no means is it perfect when they lose. He says by no means is it perfect when they win. I think that part of him really came out, and that's why the Niners were able to turn their season around.
Okay, let me say what I'm impressed with what I was particularly impressed with from him in this game and all season. I get on him with his decisions. I say he doesn't make good decisions. Well, it's hard to make good decisions. Maybe I don't always make good decisions. And then I get on him for doubling down on his bad decisions, which he does sometimes. But what I want to say is he also, the other side of doubling down is having the courage of your conviction, like having conviction. And he has that. And so when they were 3-5 this year, if I were a head coach in that situation, maybe I panic. Maybe I start questioning my convictions and start wildly searching for. I think people do that, and you don't respect it. I respect that at 3-5, he stuck with what he thought was right. I respect that at 17-0 down, he stuck with what he thought was right, which is Jimmy Garoppolo. Right. And I respect it. And you know what? He just might win the Super Bowl this year. Like, the season isn't over. He hasn't been proven wrong yet. I respect that. Respect it.
And you're absolutely right, because to me, that point that you just made, the fact that, you might disagree with his decisions. I think everybody has certain quibbles and everybody has an opinion on what's right. But I think what's impressive about him is that each decision he seems to think is thoughtful enough to the point where he feels that he's put enough thought and considered every single variable, where no matter the result, he's going to continue focusing on it because he's considered every option. He felt he's made the right decision. It's bit him in the butt a couple times, but there's no knee-jerk reaction. Oh, we're down 17-0. Get out of here, Jimmy. I'm going to throw in Trey Lance, who I traded up so much to get. Oh, we're 3-5. Season seems to be falling apart.
I was wrong. I was wrong. Let's do the opposite of let's just do opposite day. No, he never does that. No. So, what was I going to say? I want to say one more thing. It'll come back to me in a minute. Anything else you want to say about Kyle Shanahan?
Yeah, I thought he put on a masterclass of play calling in that third quarter. That drive, he took the Rams' heart when the 10 went on that. Legendary. Yeah, the 10 runs in a row. That was wildly
impressive. Capped off with a wide receiver throwing for a touchdown. Legendary.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was great. And again, how he was able to win a game with a quarterback who committed 2 turnovers. That's impressive.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about the quarterback because he's had a game that was basically a microcosm of his entire career. But yeah.
Before we go to him, this is what I wanted to say. I'm glad that I stuck with it. So Kyle has the courage of his convictions, and he's very thoughtful in his decisions, right? Even if they're the wrong one. I just hope that this manifests itself with Trey Lance too. That he really wanted Trey Lance. That's the guy. It wasn't he wanted Mac Jones or Aaron Rodgers. That he's just not talking about it out of respect for Jimmy and this team, but he feels that as strongly about the future with Lance as he does about the present with Jimmy. I just hope for Lance's sake and the Niners' sake and Kyle's sake.
Yeah. And the one thing I want to say also is when you go on the road and you get jumped on, the way the Niners got jumped on in the early in that football game, and this is a must win, usually there's desperation. And I thought the one thing that was consistent in the Niners' body language throughout that first half is they still seem to hold their nerve. It kind of reminded me a lot of when Jim Harbaugh's 49ers got jumped on and went down 17-0 in the loudest stadium in the NFL that year, the Georgia Dome, in the NFC Championship game. And you remember Frank Gore told Jim Harbaugh, he's like, just keep running the football. We got this. We got this. I thought that kind of culture, there was no image of Deebo Samuel saying that to Kyle Shanahan, but Kyle Shanahan, obviously, he didn't look flustered or scared or nervous at all on the sidelines. And I thought Deebo Samuel's body language throughout that game just reflected the utmost confidence, because they tried to intimidate Deebo early in this game by trying to get some real big shots on him to show that they weren't going to get pushed around by him. And it looked like, when Jalen Ramsey hit him, Ramsey was the one who was feeling it, not Deebo.
Yeah, Kyle Shanahan has put together a very confident team. Sometimes I feel like to a fault, like when they lose games to Seattle, like, yo, you really, or to Colt McCoy, to me, it's just like overconfidence. But then when they go into a game like this where a lot of people, they're 4-point underdogs, a lot of people think they're going to lose. They just have this resolve that is uncommon. I'm not used to it. And I think there aren't very many teams like it in the NFL, because I think most teams are like kind of churned every 3 years. This team's been together for 5 years. They've been in big games, and they know that they own the Rams. And I think that 17-0, it's like once they got those 3 before halftime and they knew they were getting the ball in the second half, I think there was nothing to panic about. So anyway,
pretty much.
Good job, Kyle Shanahan.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Let's answer some questions. Salim says, Vish and Grant, y'all are the best. Hope everything is good with both of your families. Thanks for keeping the content coming all season. I want you to know that I officially bought Vish his Blue Yeti. It's on the way.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I didn't buy it. They bought it, but it's been purchased and it's on the way. Deebo, best football player P.S. Let's beat the Cowboys. I think he's the best offensive weapon in the league. I saw him on the same
Yeah.
field as Cooper Kupp. I'll take Deebo. And I think
Yeah,
Cooper's great.
to me, if we're talking just skill players, I got to go to a couple games this season, and this is where I've had a lot of discourse about Brandon Ayuk that really upsets people. Grant, you and I had it. Me and Eric Crocker had it on his morning show last Tuesday. But what stands out to me, and the reason I say Debo is faster than Ayuk, is when I saw them in person. Deebo, to me, I didn't get to see Raheem Mostert in that game. Maybe he would have looked a different speed. Deebo just moves a different speed than everybody else. There's just this play speed and play explosion to Deebo. I mean, I thought his touchdown run yesterday was the prime example. It was a good play call, was blocked up, but Deebo Samuel was the only player on the field that's scoring on that play.
Can we just talk about how important Deebo Samuel was in this game? Because again, the quarterback gets all the credit, but they were down 17-3, and then he ripped off a 16-yard touchdown run, which he's been doing like breathing the last 2 months. He does it all the time. And then the next drive, he throws a 24-yard touchdown pass. So he erases. It's not like, well, yeah, he made nice catches, but there were nice throws. Like, no. Handoff, he erased the deficit. He was right there with Armstead and Jimmy as MVPs of this game. Although Jimmy, we're going to talk about Jimmy next.
Absolutely. He's special.
It's like that one scene from I Love You, Man, Jimmy G fans in your face, Niner fans that know Trey's better with puke on their face. This is not cool. Yeah, Niner fans are heading to this next right now, right? It's a civil war, Niner fans going on. Oh, well. Finally, Banana Hands didn't let one slip away. That's funny because it's the Banana Hands. You get it? You get it? Niner, not a bot. Not a bot. Okay, we'll take you seriously then. Am I late? What excuse did Vish the Clown have for his hero stat, Padford, and his hatred for Jimmy performing better than him? Ooh, that was really mean.
Yeah, that was harsh, but
harsh.
I mean, obviously, I'm ecstatic that Jimmy played well enough to win the game because I'm a Niners fan, but I don't think Jimmy played better than Matthew Stafford in this game.
Jimmy had a running game. Stafford didn't.
Jimmy, yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm happy to jump on the Matthew Stafford whatever because like the Niners won, they're in the playoffs, but he just
the problem with the Rams isn't Stafford; it's the fact that they're utterly one-dimensional on offense.
I mean, yeah, he just threw 41 touchdowns. They just won the NFC West. They're hosting a playoff game.
Yeah. I mean, Jimmy lost twice to the Seahawks. Does that invalidate everything he did in your eyes, Niner? Not a bot?
I mean, it's okay though. I love it. I love it because you know what? I'm that excited.
Oh, we're gonna get a lot of this today, Vish.
Yeah.
I said I would tell you so. So I told you Stafford is a bum. No, I was way harsh on him last night, and thinking back on it, like he had no running game. What would Jimmy look like if they averaged 2.4 yards per carry? I think I know what he would look like.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't. We don't need to have this conversation today.
Is the D-line that good, or is the Rams O-line that bad? Can we expect the same results from the D-line against the Cowboys? Well, the one thing was like, they didn't do what the Titans did. The Titans did max protection with like all the extra blockers. They went the opposite direction. Empty. 5 blockers. Didn't work.
Yeah, they got their butts handed to them in this game.
McVay is, to me, when I see him, I always think he's so overrated because he always loses to the Niners. But then he beats everyone else in the league, like breathing, right? He beat the Bucs.
To me, he has a really, really good philosophy. He has a good system. He's a solid game manager and all of that. And that's why he's won so many games. Also, he's managed a very talented team. But the Niners they're just all over his offense, right? They have like 2 or 3 runs that they do really, really well, and they go back to them. The Niners were eating those runs for breakfast yesterday. They eat them every time they play them. So
the way I looked at it was like they had a couple things that worked in the first quarter, and D'Amico was like, okay, all right, okay. That we're shutting that down. And Rams were like, oh, but those are the 3 things that we do.
I was actually tweeting about it during the game. And I was, even after the first drive, I wasn't that convinced that the Niners defense was playing poorly when it was 17-0 because I felt like the things that the Rams were doing were not like the throws Stafford was making from muddy pockets to guys in like pinhole windows that he was putting on these guys, whether it was Kupp, the first third down to Beckham. I was like, this isn't sustainable.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I really felt like as long as it didn't get to 24-0 or 20-0, where it became 4 possessions, or 3 possessions, I felt like the Niners, were right there. And
The thing that he did that Tannehill didn't do was the picks. Tannehill and the
yeah,
Titans were like, we're just not going to do anything on offense. We're just going to be
right,
bad today. And
right,
like not bad, but like just nothing. And
right.
Stafford just I don't want to talk about him too much, but my impression he just kind of loses his patience. He's like, I'm going. We've been stuck in neutral. I'm taking a shot. Like, okay. Anyway.
Right. I mean, the
Yeah.
pick that he threw though, especially because Mosley was tagged down, was basically the equivalent of a punt. I remember in the NFC Championship game when Tom Brady threw three of those in the fourth quarter of the NFC Championship game, because it's Tom. Everybody referred to it as "quote unquote" arm punts, even though he just threw 3 interceptions
That's
in the
true. That
fourth
is a
quarter
good
of the
point.
NFC
That's a good point.
Championship.
Remember that. Mark Lamar says, please ask Jimmy how he can play with that chip for 4 quarters. He looked fine. Fine. Guys, there are a ton of comments lining up. We're going to finish up our last 2 comments and then hit all the our last 2 topics and then hit all the comments, because I don't want you guys to wait too long for Vicious analysis of the Cowboys, and I don't want him to wait too long either while we go over comments. So thank you, Mark. We're going to come back. Tynes, you're next. 12:59. All right. What do you think of Jimmy Garoppolo in this game?
I
He's a
thought it
hero
was
right
kind of
now.
yeah.
Be
I thought
careful.
it was kind of a microcosm of Jimmy Garoppolo's career, like, dare I say, because there were so many things in that game, and I don't think, like, the analysis is as simple as, "Oh, like, I heard you say Garoppolo's the arsonist and the firefighter." I don't think he was both of them per
It was a
se,
good
like,
line,
I
though.
think right, I think the ebbs and flows of that happens in every game, and it
Yeah.
happens more or less with
Yes.
other
Most
quarterbacks. With
quarterbacks.
Garoppolo, it's
Yes.
a bigger extreme
Yeah.
because I've called him high risk, medium reward.
I
That's
like
kind of
that.
what he
I
is.
like that. Yeah,
That's
that's true.
kind of what he is, but,
Yeah.
he played pretty poorly for a large portion of this game. I don't think that should be, taken out of control. It felt like
Second pick
one
was bad.
throw would be a strike, and then the very next
Yeah.
throw we'd be talking about his thumb. Is his thumb bothering him? It felt like that was going on during this game. But the one thing you can't take away from him is no timeouts left, on the road, season on the line. You need a touchdown to tie the game, and to go 88 yards like that down the field, that was legendary. That's one of the great drives in 49ers history. To
It was.
me, that was a legendary drive.
Well, hold on real quick. He did it in Nashville. Now that the
Yeah,
defense didn't hold, but he's tied the game. He did it in
right.
Cincinnati. He did it in
Yeah,
Seattle, but didn't finish it. He did it
yeah,
against Green Bay. He's done it like 5 times this year.
yeah. And
Didn't do
he
it in
did
the
it in
Super Bowl, but
he did it
maybe
in
he will this year if
2019
they get
too.
there.
Yeah,
Maybe he
because
will.
and this is what he does, right? Like it's this is where the Eli Manning comparison comes
Yes.
in, right? Because he could play so
Lose
poorly, and then you
around
with the game
40.
on the line.
Yes. It's amazing. It's amazing.
But to be fair, like, right, that drive was legendary. My impressions of him is, do I think it changes much? No. I think you have to look at the entirety of the picture here,
Yeah.
and I think, the recency bias and the fan in me just is so ecstatic because what he did was absolutely special. Like, to go
And they
down
were
the
down
field,
17-0.
and this was, to me, it was different from the Tennessee drive, because the Tennessee drive, you had
It was Deebo.
maybe pushed off, and
It was Deebo.
he had a
Yeah.
big play that really
Yeah.
put it. This one, he made big time throw after big time throw. Especially
Yeah.
they had the one throw
He
to
did.
Deebo for
That was
the
crazy.
one big play to Deebo, and this one that was, to me, a spectacular throw.
Probably the
You
best
have
throw of the year from Jimmy. That was great.
yeah, you have
That
cover
was great.
6, and you basically, which is cover 2 to the boundary, and you have Jalen Ramsey as the flat defender,
Yeah.
and he's sinking on the route, and
It was
Jimmy
nice.
still put it on him.
It was
Big
nice.
time throw.
Big time throw.
Y Yeah,
It was
I
nice.
can't give him anything but props because he did what he had to, but at the same time, I think if you look at the entirety of the picture, you still have to say that he's still the quarterback that he's always been.
Yes.
And I go back, and to me, it would have been even more legendary if the Niners ended it on the first drive of overtime. I thought they would go down the field and score a touchdown, and Shanahan had it ready to go. After all those first down runs, hammering run on first down, they called that RPO. You have Deebo Samuel on a little glance route. He's one. If you hit him in stride, he's one-on-one with the safety. Jordan Fuller got hurt earlier in this game. There's no way that backup safety is tackling Deebo Samuel in the open field. He probably scores on that play. Jimmy sadly missed him. He did convert like 3 third downs on that drive though, to then take them down the field, kick the field goal. So you do have to give him credit for that. But It was it's a wild ride. It's always been a wild ride. I feel like, as a fan, I keep losing years off my life every time I watch the 49ers play with Garoppolo because we go through, Jesse Naylor's favorite cycle. I feel like we go through that cycle in every game. Jimmy makes a bad throw, bench Jimmy. Jimmy comes back and leads them down the field. We love Jimmy. Jimmy makes a bad throw. It's a rinse repeat cycle. It's a vicious cycle with him.
I thought was so interesting about his performance is that, like, okay, his last two performances, Tennessee and this game, I think most fans would feel that, like, if they were grading Jimmy in Tennessee, they'd give him an F. I gave him an F.
Mm-hmm.
I think most fans would. And then for this game, I think most fans would give him an A. I gave him a B, and I think most fans would give him an A. But what's crazy is if you, like, the day after you just look at the box scores, he put up the same numbers. It's the same stat line. 300-plus yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, plus a third potential turnover that he fortunately escaped, and a missed long throw.
No, the point
and a clutch drive at the end. And it just shows you that whether you win or lose, like, really,
it really matters because
it's your opinion of a guy. When really, the QBR for both performances was exactly the same, 46.1 down to the decimal. So just like a non-passionate, non-biased algorithm saw C- from both performances, which is so interesting to me. So interesting.
And I think your point about the Armstead stat making all the sack at the end of regulation making all the difference is absolutely the point, because we talked about how the evaluation is so result oriented, right? In the case that with 37 seconds, Stafford took them down the field, Matt Gay hits a game-winning field goal, the discourse surrounding the 49ers and them not making the playoffs immediately moves towards why didn't Kyle Shanahan play Trey Lance? Sure, Jimmy took them down the field, but it took him to have quarters to play well. It's the same exact discourse.
That's what happened in Tennessee. The narrative in Tennessee was they couldn't overcome his mistakes, but the narrative in this game was he overcame his mistakes, right? Yes. When really, in Tennessee, as great as the defense was, they couldn't make a play on the final drive. In this game, for whatever reason, Eric Armstead did. Second play, sack, goodbye, see you later, overtime. Like, had he done that in Tennessee, maybe the Niners win that game in overtime.
Absolutely. And I don't want to sound it like I'm trying to discredit him, right? Because what he did, again, it was legendary. That will forever be remembered.
And it's like the 5th time he's done it this year. 4th, he was close to a 5th. It's legendary. He is clutch for sure. I just think it's interesting that it was the same performance as last week, and what happened circumstantially around him totally colors your opinion.
It turns it from the Tennessee game to the Cincinnati game.
Wasn't the whole reason they lost. And maybe in this game, he's not the whole reason they won. Maybe it's a team sport.
Right. It is a team sport. Maybe. And it goes back to the Tennessee game, right? The Tennessee game I didn't get to watch live because of family circumstances. So I just watched it with an objective viewing after on like a Tuesday. And I know the result. And he played very poorly in that game for the first 3.5 quarters. Then you get to the 4th quarter and he takes them down the field in overtime. He takes them down the field in the last drive, and he's making big throw after big throw. I mean, it is kind of the experience with him, which is why, because he's won more than he's lost. He's by a considerable amount, to be fair to him. He's got a great record, though I don't believe wins are a quarterback stat, is why you have fans that are so adamant at just looking at the positive parts of his play, because I don't know if we can actually get one of those games. I feel like he's had one in his career where every throw has just been great and it's been a great game, and that was the Arizona game. We get very few like those. Every game is just an experience with him. The Arizona game in 2019 on Halloween.
Look, okay, I just want to say, though, he's got to do better. Like, this isn't enough. This isn't good enough. It was good enough against the Rams. It wasn't good enough against the Titans. You got to stop turning the ball over multiple times and stop.
Yeah. No,
stop
absolutely.
Please. But yeah, that was really cool what he did. But the reason I'm a little skeptical on like the whole Niners going to the Super Bowl thing is him still. And if he can raise his game a little bit, then I still think this team is the Super Bowl roster they thought it was. Clearly.
I agree. And I think the skepticism comes from him. People will say the defense, but I just don't think the defense can continue to get the kind of stops that they need to, so that he can go win it for you at the end, because
the cornerbacks are the weakness, right? 2 picks yesterday, 5 sacks. 2.4 yards per carry. That's a nice defense. I'm not worried about the defense. To me, this is arguably the best roster in the league, and they limped into the playoffs. They came down to the wire. Why? Well, because of this guy, because of their quarterback, because the most important player on the team isn't up to it. He isn't as good as the supporting cast. Maybe people would disagree with that, but maybe he can prove me wrong. In these last few, he's got a chance.
They got a real good shot.
They match up right here.
They match up really well across the board with all these teams too.
Let's talk about it right now. Last topic: how do the Niners match up with the Cowboys? What do you think?
I think they match up pretty well. And if you look at it from a grand, like just a broad picture, I think Dallas actually. We talked about this like 3 weeks ago, I think, when we talked about how the Niners had some 2011 Giants vibes, all of that. This was before the Tennessee game, I want to say. Maybe it was even before the second Seattle game, but we talked about it. And I basically said at that time, I don't mind if they play Tampa. I don't mind if they play the Rams. I don't mind if they play Arizona. It was really Green Bay, who I felt was the best team. And Dallas was the one I was a little nervous about just based on matchup. And the reason Dallas kind of worries me is, one, I think Dallas is one of the few teams that has playmakers to the level that Niners have them.
What Dallas, the threats Dallas poses, and why the Niners match up well after that.
Yeah. So, the threats Dallas poses is that, as bad as Mike McCarthy is as an in-game clock manager, Dallas has talent. Dallas has a few players that are exceptional, like the 49ers have, right?
Yeah.
Micah Parsons is an exceptional player. He's like a Nick Bosa, like a Trent Williams, like a Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, that's the rookie first-round pick, right?
Yes. Dak Prescott's a very good quarterback. Their defensive line has been kicking butt all year. Randy Gregory's been kicking butt. Tank Lawrence has been kicking butt. Their secondary, sure, Trevon Diggs gets beat a lot. But you know what? When you have a corner that's giving you 11 interceptions in a season, to me, as much as he's getting beat, he's still a net positive. I would prefer, a steadier corner, but if you have one that can get you 11 interceptions, that's almost an interception a game. That's unheard of production. So that's another playmaker. And then their offense, right? Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, it's pretty stacked. They have a good offensive line. Tyron Smith, Zach Martin are back to playing at the level that they were playing, a few years ago. So I think that Dallas does pose a threat to the 49ers from the sense that I think they match up better with the 49ers than the Rams do, or Tampa does, or Arizona does. Because the thing with that I think with their defense is they've kind of become the antithesis of usual Pete Carroll defenses, right? They're usually very consistent. They don't give up big plays. They make you nickel and dime up the field. Dallas's defense actually will give up big plays. They do give up big plays, but they also make a lot of plays on defense. They're a very aggressive defense, and that's what kind of worries me against the Niners, because when you have a defense, which Dan Quinn has kind of become the opposite of what his entire MO was. He now takes chances and he's aggressive. When you have a defense that takes chances, sure, the Niners are going to hit big plays against them, but Dallas's defense is also going to make plays against the Niners defense, and it's going to be big plays. It's going to be turnovers. It's going to be yards for a loss. It's going to be sacks. It's going to be forced fumbles, and those type of things.
And generally, the Niners lose when they turn the ball over, unless they're playing the Rams or the Vikings.
Right.
Yes.
And so that's what worries me. Where they match up well with Dallas is, I think Dallas is a smaller, faster defense. Niners are going to be able to push them around and run the football. That's going to happen. I think Dallas is going to have a tough time with Deebo Samuel. I think Dallas is going to have a tough time with George Kittle. I think the physicality of the Niners is going to come through. And if the Niners can get a lead, I do think the Niners defense is very good, to the point that, one, I think they'll take Zeke Elliott out of this game. But two, I think they can keep – and Dak Prescott they'll make Dak Prescott be very patient, where even though he is a patient quarterback as opposed to Stafford, you said he can get impatient at times. Dak Prescott will continue to take what the defense gives him all the way up the field. So I think it's a really interesting matchup, to be honest. I actually don't know who's winning this game. If the Niners were playing Tampa first round or the Rams first round, I would tell you today that I think the Niners are going to win. But Dallas is the one team I don't know as much.
I think the Niners can win this game with Jimmy Garoppolo, but it's troubling that Dallas has a big advantage at the most important position. But I still think the Niners can win this game with Jimmy Garoppolo. As you said, Dallas is kind of soft on defense. And if you're soft on defense against the Niners, really pretty much all the Niners have to do is commit to the run and not turn the ball over, and you're in big
Right.
trouble. You're in big trouble. Yeah.
They
All
have
right.
to just give themselves an opportunity to run it.
Yeah. And really, as long as Elijah Mitchell's healthy and Deebo Samuel's healthy and Kyle Shanahan's had a good night's sleep, I think they should stick to the script and probably, I don't know. I mean, the defense is playing so well right now that earlier in the year, I was thinking, man, they can't match up with these wide receivers. Now I'm thinking, I
Right,
don't
and
know.
we're gonna have
Yeah.
to see, right? Because
Yeah.
they had one big injury, I thought, on defense yesterday, and that was Jaquaski
Tart.
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 And if Tart
Point.
doesn't play, then I think there's going to be some issues because we
Yeah.
saw the Rams offense, the one drive they did have in the second half, which was also Stafford making two unbelievable throws, the slot fade to Cup, which he basically backpedaled and threw on a fadeaway and put it on
Yeah.
a dime to Cup,
Yeah.
who basically Jimmy Ward had clamped up. And
Yeah.
then the touchdown throw to Cup, which was he threw basically a layered ball with touch through basically like a 1 inch window. That was an absolute beauty of a throw. That drive happened after the 5 straight whatever, or I think it
Yeah.
was 4 straight drives where they shut them down, and that one drive I thought was the first drive I saw Dante Johnson playing
Yeah.
safety and
Yeah.
subbing in for the injured Jaquaski Tart. So to me, if Tart is healthy, I think a lot of offenses will struggle to move the ball on the 49ers, though I think Dallas's offense is one of the offenses that can actually do a bit better as opposed to the Rams, as opposed to Tampa, who's bereft of everything right now.
I mean, yesterday to me was a playoff game, and they won it without Trent freaking Williams.
Yeah.
How wild would it be if they end up losing to the Dallas Cowboys in another playoff game because they don't have Tart, who they totally didn't respect all year, value? They've been trying to push out the door, and it seems like they just realized he's really important. I don't know. We're so much better with him on the field. Oop. He may not be there, but I don't know. We don't know yet. But Niners better hope he is. They might want to reconsider replacing him this offseason. The only thing with Tart is he's hurt again, man. He's hurt again.
It's the injuries, right? But
hurt
that's
again.
the thing. They also missed K'Wan Williams in this game.
Exactly.
K'Wan Williams is a big time player for them. So
that's a great point. Yeah, K1 and Tart are real similar like that. Real similar. So solid when they're on the field. All right, we have like a half hour worth of questions to take. Let's knock these out. Okay. That was really interesting what you said about the Cowboys. Makes me feel like the Niners have a real good chance. We'll see.
yeah. If they beat Dallas, I'll say this: they're going to the Super Bowl.
Oh, see, to me, I don't know. It's hard.
The one thing is, can they go into Lambeau? Right. That would be then the only question, because we're confident they can go into SoFi. They can go into Arizona.
My question is, can they win 4 straight road games? That's hard, because it's not just the 3 playoff. It's the LA one too, 4 in a row. Damn, that would be.
So,
but
if there's one team that can do it, it's this team to me.
Exactly.
They've
have
ridden
that
the
aura.
wave. Yeah.
Yeah, we were down 3 and 5. Who cares? Like, all right, well, do it then. You built yourself. I mean, you created this. There are consequences for being 3 and 5. This is it.
Right.
Go win 4 road games in a row to go to the Super Bowl. That would be pretty cool.
They're not a great home team anyway. So
good point. Okay, Tyne says, how can SF possibly go deep in the playoffs living in between the numbers? Dallas has to be ready for this. Good scheme or smoke and mirrors. Well, you can avoid Diggs by, and he's going to be on the outside with whoever, Ayuk.
I mean, the Rams have played a lot of trap coverages to try and take these routes away. It's kind of hard. Garoppolo rips them over the middle of the field, and those guys who are catching passes over the middle of the field are really good.
Yeah, with the exception of those 2 picks, he wasn't forcing balls over the middle. I don't understand what he was doing on either of those interceptions, but other than that, he kept hitting like Hasty and Jennings on the outside on really short throws.
Yeah.
Like, within 2 yards of the line of scrimmage, but it kept working. I wonder if it'll keep working, but it worked in this game. Max Morlock says, Kyle, let's punt it on 4th and 18 with Robbie McVay. Wait, I'm the bigger banana hand. I'm going to run the ball 3 times and go nowhere. You like that, Kyle? That was arrogant at the end of regulation. 3 runs and a punt.
I thought it was the right decision too, though. What had Garoppolo done throughout the entirety of that game? And you were finally going to get your opportunity to pin your ears back with Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, Aaron Donald against Colton McKivitz.
But as we know, it doesn't matter what Jimmy Garoppolo's done. It doesn't matter. If he has an opportunity to like tie or take a lead with the last drive, I wouldn't bet against him, and I don't know why he has the skill set. But
he did it, and
I wouldn't
the
bet against him.
craziest part is he
Yeah.
did it with ease. There was
Easy.
no like it was surgical, it was efficient. It was just like
if you've done your homework on the Niners, you got to know that Jimmy's very comfortable in those situations, and the team is confident in him. Got to know that. So I'm like McVay again. Man, so disappointed in that guy. Greg says, I have to say this. 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks praise Jimmy Garoppolo for being fantastic and clutch, and you 2 schmoes still call the guy mediocre. LOL. Hey, Vish loves Stafford. He is mediocre, though. 2 touchdowns, but he was clutch. That's what clutch means.
I don't know if mediocre
like
is the word, but
he was clutch.
I don't know if mediocre is the word. I mean, he had a really, really good game, but also, I mean, Grant is paid to cover the entire game, not the last 7 minutes of the game.
He's 12-10 his last 22 starts. I mean, I don't know. Look. This will be the litmus test. I guess we'll know for sure when he's on another team next year, and we'll see what he does then. Because there's a big argument, does he make Kyle or does Kyle make him? We will learn. And then you can come back and give me another $5 to rub it in our faces. Brittany says, since 2010, third seeds have not won the Super Bowl. Cowboys won playoff game only 4 times in 25 years. Third seed average 1.2 wins, 6.9 wins, sixth seed reaches Super Bowl 9%. Those are really great numbers, Brittany.
Bye, Dallas. No Super Bowl for you. Sorry.
Oof. Dallas to me seems like a contender, though. I mean, they have a legit franchise quarterback. They have Micah Parsons, who's, I mean, one of the more.
Maybe the defensive player of the year.
I don't know. I mean, the Niners definitely could beat them, but if the Niners lose, maybe they're losing to the eventual NFC champion. Who knows? We'll see.
I don't think
best team the Niners have played so far this year.
I don't think Dallas can go into Green Bay and beat Green Bay.
Fair. Is this the best team the Niners have faced so far?
Huh?
Is this the best team the Niners have faced so far, Dallas, or was that Tennessee team better?
It was Green Bay.
It was Green Bay, right? I keep forgetting about Green Bay. It's definitely because of the ones team.
Or it might have been Tennessee, honestly. But Green Bay played wasn't this Green Bay team at that time, and Tennessee played with AJ Brown finally coming back from injury. It wasn't. They were going to have Derrick Henry in the playoffs, and then of course in Dallas's case, like technically, if the Rams and Dallas played, I would take the Rams, but the Niners own the Rams, so it's a totally different ball game playing Dallas.
Mario says, greetings from Austria playoffs, baby. I love how worldwide the Niner faithful fan base is crazy. I probably the Packers are like that a little bit. Cowboys to an extent. Pittsburgh. New England? Has New England gotten, are there New England fans in Austria? I don't know.
Maybe.
Dallas
should be, right?
Dallas for sure. Yeah. J Mad says, did Rams take out their hats and shirts on Sunday? My dad told me that Aaron Donald was walking up and down the Rams sidelines, shaking everyone's hand with like 2 minutes left, congratulating them on the victory. That's perfect, Aaron Donald. Classic. Anyway, Robert says, Grant saw the Jimmy fans going crazy on you last night. Crazy when Deebo was the best quarterback on the field. The moment we go empty backfield interception. Yeah, but they won, so he's the secret sauce that makes it all work. Thank you, Robert. I'm glad that you saw it my way.
I'm ecstatic. I don't understand why being wrong about, actually, I don't know if I was wrong about him, but I'll take the L because he got them to the playoffs and he did it with a legendary drive. But I don't understand why it feels better for you that I'm also a fan and I'm going to enjoy it, but I don't know.
I just think it's funny that when the schedule came out before Verrett went down, when the schedule came out, I said 10-7. And Niner fans are like, you're a hater. 12-5 minimum, 13-4. And then they go 10-7, and Niner fans are like, yeah, we 10-7. You're wrong in your face. But it's like, really? This is not what you expected. This was not they should be better than 10-7.
I think before the season also, I said 10-7 and 6 seed. And I also think I said the Rams would win the NFC West and be 12-5.
Yeah, I was so confident in Arizona, and I was really gloating about that. Kind of like I was gloating when the Niners were down 17-0. I really got to remind myself not that it's a 4-quarter game. It's a 4-quarter game. My bad. Because when people were really dumping on Trey Lance a couple weeks ago, I was like, wait for it. Wait a second. And then I was right. And then I broke my own rule. Whose house? Our house. Wish the media would stop saying Niner fans travel well. That was an LA fan base. Niners are the true West Coast team. That is true.
That I believe.
That is true.
That I believe. Yeah.
The Rams don't matter. They might as well be a St. Louis team. The Raiders, used to matter 30, 40 years ago. Seahawks have been relevant for 10 years, but that's the Pacific Northwest. It's all about the Niners on the West Coast. All
They are
about
a
the
St.
Niners.
Louis team, though, right? I remember
They
that dome
are.
used to be popping.
That's where they had success. That's where they won their Super Bowl. I mean, the LA Rams were never anything in the 80s, were they? I mean, were they? I don't even know who their quarterback was.
I wasn't alive.
Yeah.
I remember they had Eric Dickerson.
It's true. And they were in the Niners division, which was bad for them. Best quarterback on the field yesterday was 19. That's the second person who said that. Well, he didn't throw any picks. What was his quarterback rating? 157?
He's honestly, it's like watching the best player in high school, the way they use him. Oh, Deebo, go run, be our running back. Deebo, catch a few screens. Deebo, you're a wide receiver now. Deebo, we need you to throw a pass.
We're having some difficulties getting you the ball through the air, so we're just going to hand it to you now. Actually, we had some difficulty throwing the ball, so you're going to throw now. Oh, okay. It's what the Chargers used to do with LaDainian Tomlinson. He would have games where he would run for a touchdown, catch a touchdown, throw a touchdown frequently. I'd like to see. He was so close. Deebo almost got the hat trick yesterday. But
yeah,
Jimmy had to throw that 1 yard pass.
No, he actually would have had the hat trick 2 times. One, Jimmy missed him on the RPO, and then the throw before the Juwan Jennings touchdown, he overshot him just by a hair.
True.
Deebo would have scored on that play.
That's right.
Yeah.
Eric Magical says, Grant, any ideas why our backup guards are better as tackles? Also looking good, Vish. Keep it up. Maybe because
they got protected by the game plan yesterday.
Yeah, true. I think that's what it is. Say it again. Say it again.
Yeah, they were protected by the game plan. That's the thing. See, I think if they played without Trent Williams and they played with Colton McKivitz and Tom Compton, I think Dallas would expose that. With Randy Gregory, DeMarcus Lawrence, especially when they rush Micah Parsons, they will expose that.
Good point. Where would the Rams be if they kept Goff?
If they called plays the same exact way they did this season and their defense played the level that it played at the beginning of the season and not what it played the last month of the season, the Rams wouldn't be in the playoffs with Jared Goff at quarterback. No way.
Yeah, I agree. Stilo,
you put him in empty and drop him back yesterday, Jared Goff doesn't throw for 100 yards.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't understand how the Rams became that on offense. Like, what the hell is that? I'm sorry, because that just means that Stafford's good. Like, what happened to McVay? Where is your run game, dude? What happened? Because Kyle has one no matter who his running back is, essentially. Where is yours?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. They said they had big plans for Cam Akers, and then once Cam Akers got hurt, we'll see what happens. Cam Akers is bad.
Undrafted guys?
I mean, he's not Shanahan.
You don't got Bobby Turner. While you're really going to ride Staff into the ground, Vish, how much you want to bet he proves me right again before he lives up to your praise? I don't
understand what proving you right is, though, because if they beat the Cardinals in the playoffs and they win a playoff game, and then you say, then they may be losing the NFC Championship game at Green Bay, you'll say that you were proven right. Like, I don't understand it. What about yesterday was like, if yesterday became a massive game if they had lost, but if they had won that game, nobody would be sitting here and saying, oh, Stafford won a big game at home. It would be just, he beat a team that was trying to get into the playoffs at home. Like, what's the big deal?
Know Your Personnel says, love you, Vish, but you lost some cool points. You don't know who Puff is? He's still relevant, bro. I don't know, man. Vish is 22.
I didn't know him as P. I know who Puff is.
Puff is 30 years older than Vish, man. It's different. Like, we grew up with Puff. He didn't grow up with Puff. Like, that's like me not knowing some pop star from the 70s. Like, why would I know that? You know, I wouldn't.
Yeah, but I actually, when people say Puff, I actually know who that is. When people say P Daddy, I didn't know who that was.
Puff, P Diddy. San Fran Niner fan says, we've seen Jimmy when the run game isn't there. Stop the cap. Everyone, Stafford is multiple times better than Jimmy. It's obvious to objective people. Yeah, I mean, I would say so. It was fun to get those tweets off yesterday, though, and rub it in.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I love it. I love it because I'll take the L on it, too, because, I'm ecstatic about it. I was really upset when the Rams got Stafford out because I wanted the Niners to get him, so I love it.
No, what I like so much about our show is that football is such an emotional game, and analyzing it, even when you're not a fan, that the day of is hard to separate the emotion from it, and Monday is the day that you do that. You haven't moved on. It's the 24-hour rule. You haven't moved on to the next game, but you can evaluate it dispassionately, and that's what you're good at. That's what you're good at.
I mean, like yesterday, that's what I don't understand, how you do the show right after the game, because
it's hard.
If you had
wake up the next day, I'm like,
I'd be taking my shots at Stafford.
Yeah, no, but because I was thinking, I'm not thinking like really the Rams. Their problem is that they don't help him. Right? He's got
Yeah.
a great receiver, a kind of an older receiver who used to be great, and what else? A good tight end. Where is your run game, McVay? How are you helping this man?
And
What happened?
I thought the one thing they have done well for the entirety of the season is they were able to pass protect at a pretty good high rate, and he navigates the pocket really well. Yes, they got their butts kicked up front. It wasn't just Armstead. I thought was the best football player on the field yesterday, but Bosa dominated them. Key dominated them. Street dominated them. Gibbons dominated them. The Niners could have put Grant Cohn as their fourth defensive end, and it felt like he would get pressure on the quarterback too. They were
I wouldn't
all
have.
kicking their butts.
I wouldn't have. Look, McVay is very good, but ever since Todd Gurley's knee turned into sawdust and CJ Anderson lost his magic mojo or whatever, like that team just hasn't been scary to me at all. And they need a running back. They need a freaking running back. And I don't know,
They do
Akers,
have one. I
maybe
believe in
Cam Akers will be that guy.
Yeah,
He
I
needs
think
some
he's that
time,
guy.
but they can't put all their eggs in that. Anyway, we don't talk about the Rams. That team is such a disappointment. Not that I was rooting for them or anything. It was like, again, 6 times. Was it 6 times in a row now?
Yeah, 6 in a row. That's pretty embarrassing.
How much will Kyle Shanahan, knowing Dan Quinn's defensive scheme, come into play next Sunday? You were saying that. I mean, sure it will, but you said that he's
but
kind of changed
they
the
don't play
philosophy.
defense the way they played defense. Like he knows that scheme up and down, the Seattle scheme. But also, I think Dan Quinn. It goes both ways. I think Dan Quinn has a better clue. I mean, to be fair, Raheem Morris is supposed to have a clue of this run game, and it got to the point where I think at least in Raheem Morris's case, the Rams personnel just doesn't match up with the Niners' power and physicality because they're just small and fast because they're looking to stop the pass game first. That's their philosophical idea. So it becomes a real problem if the Niners are able to start running the ball because even if like a lot of plays the Rams were fitting the run correctly, they were all over it. And it was just a product of the Niners were just more physical. So, you hit the guy Elijah Mitchell at 2 yards and he ends up gaining 7 because you have a 215-pound safety meeting him in the C gap. And so that's kind of what happens. And so at least in Dallas's case, they have a lot more size, right? Micah Parsons is 250 pounds. So I do think that, Dallas will have a little bit of an advantage there because they'll be able to meet this run game. Dan Quinn did a good Dan Quinn and Raheem Morris, when they were in Atlanta 2019, did a very good job playing the Niners offense.
That is true because look, Kyle knows them, they know him. Michael says that was like the most obvious thing ever, right? I said it like it was deep. Michael says DeMeco did an excellent job. Ike has become the player that I envisioned. Op equals results, opportunities. Jennings great against man coverage. Run game is reliable as rain. Yeah, Jennings is better than I thought he would be. I never really saw much from him in training camp that led me to believe he'd be a guy who'd have 94 yards and 2 touchdowns in a game. But Kyle really trusts him. It's just like his little secret weapon.
Yeah, I mean, he was the one that was getting the advantageous matchups yesterday. Honestly, like I didn't expect the receiving.
He's the one who's caught the touchdown drive from Jimmy,
right.
The touchdown pass at the end of the game, last 2 times from Jimmy, right?
Right.
That's his guy. Well, no, Ayuk did it too. No, so where was? I'm sorry, I'm confused.
Jennings caught the big pass for Cincinnati, the little back
there you go.
Slot fade.
Bingo. There it is. Yep. All right.
Yeah, but the one thing that stood out to me about Jennings, I don't think that gets talked enough. Like people say Allen Lazard is the best blocking receiver in the NFL. I think Juwan Jennings is the best blocking receiver. Juwan Jennings kicks ass in the run game.
Remember when people were praising Jalen Hurd from that back in training camp 3 years ago or whatever?
Has he got in a fight?
Yeah, or whatever. Like Jennings is the real deal. And I think Tennessee fans could have told us this years ago. Tristan said, I've looked back University of Tennessee. I've looked back at the 3 seed in the NFC playoffs every year, and they have been very disappointing first-round exit every year since 2016. I guess Niner fans have found a stat. Second person who's brought it up. Hey, that's cool. You don't want to be a 3rd seed.
I hate Dallas. So
what about the 6th seed though? I don't know. Again, Kittle underutilized as a receiver. Thoughts?
I don't think he was really underutilized.
A couple times.
You have to go back and see the film, but like
10 targets. You got 10 targets.
Right. If I catch for 10 yards.
10 yards.
Right. One of them should have been a pick. It literally went through Von Miller's hands and Kittle ended up catching it for like a 6-yard loss. But
that's true. That is true. Wolf Life Wild says Niner. I don't have a theory on that. I guess it's something to monitor. but he still looks good to me. I mean, it was just last month that he was like carrying the 49ers.
I thought he
when Deebo
kicked
was
butt
hurt.
in the run game too. I thought he
Yeah.
kicked butt in the run game.
Wolf Life Wild says Niner put it all together at the best time when others seem to be dwindling. True. Corner is situated. Seems like it. We're healthy. Mostly. Offensive weapons have emerged. Yeah, the team continues to peak. They've won 7 of 9. 7 of 9 after losing 4 in a row. So that's
7 of 9.
impressive.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. I mean, I think the only thing that makes people any skeptical about the 49ers is that we've seen games where they just seem to inexcusably.
They lost to Colt McCoy. I can't get over that. They lost twice to Seattle. I can't get over that. So do I think they're going to win the Super Bowl? Probably not. But, I'm open to it. I'd like to cover another Super Bowl.
I think they got a great shot.
They got a great shot.
Especially with the NFC. Yeah.
See, that's a savvy way to put it. Randy says Jimmy's offseason value goes up. Not because of his numbers, but because of how he makes people feel. That was hilarious. I liked it.
I mean, he made McVay so mad he pulled the fire alarm. So
that was so weird. Mid Jimmy Garoppolo press conference, they were just like, you know what, shut this down. You're done. Since the year 2000, name the 4 wildcard teams who have won the Super Bowl. Don't forget to name the year too. I don't want to do the year, but it's
Green Bay 2010.
What? Green Bay 2010.
Green Bay 2011. Giants 2007. No, Giants 2007 won the division, right? No, Dallas won the division that year. Giants 2007, Giants 2000. Oh no, Green Bay 2010, Giants 2011, and Pittsburgh? Then Pittsburgh 2005.
Yeah, and again, those teams are all situated close to each other because what I've noticed is when on that side of the country, east of the Mississippi, everything is hella close to each other. And then when you come west of the Mississippi, everything's hella spread out. And so for the West Coast teams, it's like, all right, you start with Dallas. That's about 3,000 miles round trip. And then if you're lucky, you get to go to Green Bay. That's about 5,000 miles round trip. And then you get to go to Tampa, which is 6,000 miles round trip. It adds up. It's tough.
And you have to usually win games in the East Coast in weather. That's the thing, right? Like the only other thing I think with the Niners is I think on a neutral field today, they could actually beat Green Bay. I don't know if they can walk into Lambeau and beat them there. Because if you look
I don't know if they will. They can. If Jimmy doesn't throw 2 picks.
I think they got the best shot of going into Lambeau and beating them. No way Dallas beats them. I don't think the Rams beat them. I definitely don't think Tampa beats them this year.
I don't think the Rams have the run game to be a real contender. I think they're fraudulent. Now, maybe they'll get the run game next year, but this year, Sony Michel ain't getting it done. Cam Akers ain't getting it done. I'm sorry. Maybe they have someone else that I don't know about. Sean says it's his superpower, Grant. He's a real-life Christopher Reeves. He needs a villain to play the hero. He's just his own villain.
Who's this, Jimmy G?
Jimmy? That's funny. Yeah, I suppose. Bono says since the year 2000, name the 4 wildcard teams. We got that one. Sorry, Bo, but we did it.
Did we get it right, though?
I think we got it right. Jimmy is a heart attack and the EMT. Yeah, man. He has the problem and the solution at the same time.
Yeah.
It's just, to me, like, look. His fourth quarter was crazy, dude. Like, that pick was so bad. In the end zone,
right?
Yeah, like, dude, he wasn't open. You were in field. I think it was on first down.
He also threw it like a good 1.5 yards behind him.
It was terrible. It was just inexcusable. And then he makes up for it. Like 10 minutes later. Okay. All right. Of course. Very Eli Manning-esque. Because to me, I felt like Stafford, as that game went on, kind of got discouraged and all of a sudden he started making the erratic throws down the field. Or Mullins would get discouraged and get tight. Like, Jimmy is just so oblivious and above it, which is great. So it's amazing. It's by far his best quality, not his quick release. Forget whatever. The quick release is fine. That is his best quality.
He doesn't feel anything. He doesn't.
And maybe if Kyle hadn't called the deep throw that he won't call for Jimmy anymore in the Super Bowl, maybe if Kyle had a better feel for how to call, that situation for Jimmy, they would have won because that's
the only time I felt like he looked rattled. The Super Bowl, I legitimately felt like he was rattled by the moment, the situation, the Chiefs hitting him, all of that, the looks he was getting. I've never felt like he was like that.
No. Maybe he's actually better for maybe he has improved. I don't know. We'll see. He's thrown 2 touchdowns and 4 picks in the last 2 games. Let's not over sentimentalize what he's doing right now. Bobby says Grant was talking crap about Stafford all night. Yeah, I was. I was like, Grant. Don't tell Vish what I said. But I'm allowed to go overboard on the instant reactions. It wasn't so
No,
instant
I
though. I
mean,
had to walk back to the
I have no problems with people talking. Like people think like I'm like somehow like
I wasn't like,
related
yo,
to
Vish was
Stafford
wrong.
and
I
this
was
is
like,
personal.
don't tell Vish that I said this because I know he cares about Stafford. It's like I don't want him to hear what I have to say about his,
Yeah, I
his,
mean, at the
I
end
don't
of
like
that,
hearing
that's
people
the
talk about Mullins like that. I'm like, can you do that in another room, please? I don't need to hear
so
this.
I personally don't mind it at all. He's not my family member. The funny thing is, he's not even my favorite quarterback in the NFC West. That's what people don't understand. The only thing that became a deal between me and like Stafford is because I wanted the 49ers to get him, and I vocalized it for a good year. And then the Rams ended up getting him. But my favorite quarterback in the NFC West is actually Kyler Murray. I'm a huge Kyler Murray fan. I have like 3 Oklahoma sweatshirts, and I got them all in 2019 when Kyler Murray played there. I wore an Oklahoma sweatshirt on your show. It just so happens. I mean, I think when you and I first started talking on the phone, we used to talk the most about Kyler,
Yeah.
not anybody else.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, you're really into Deebo Samuel. Always have
yeah,
been. And
he's
he's
my
one of the
favorite
most.
player in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the best athletes in the NFL. Well, Kyler is too, and it's fun to watch athletes stand out above the rest. So anyway, I like him too. 7MP says it seems like Shanahan takes the hits from the opponent, then adjusts to it. I feel that's his game plan because they start off slow so much. Sometimes it works, other times Seattle. It's funny. I think going into this game, we said, if the Niners have 3 points at halftime, they're not going to win, and that's why they can't start Trey Lance because he had 3 points at halftime. Boom, 3 points at halftime, they win. I love how the Niners keep defying what can be done. It's really cool.
What? No, but that would have been a logical take because yesterday I think was the first time in 43 games that McVay has lost a game at home while having a lead at halftime.
I think it was the first time that the Niners won a game when trailing by more than 7 at halftime, something like that.
Yeah, and I think the thing with it's the largest deficit covered in the NFL this season, I think, coming back 17 points. But I think the thing with McVay is that you wonder why he wins a lot of games because he jumps on you early, he gets a lead, and he does a really, really good job managing his offense, and he has a good defense, and they play well with the lead, and that's how they win a lot of games. So you would think if McVay gets a 17-point lead, there's no way the Rams are losing because
That's
they
why I started
never
tweeting
lose.
recklessly, Vish, and then I regretted it. I was like, oh yeah, it's this guy who can't beat the. I was sitting next to Jake Hutchinson, KMBR. I don't know if you guys know who that is. Follow him; he's great. He said, "Dude, the Rams. This is when they got to 17. He's like, that's it. They're gonna struggle the rest of the game. They're gonna put their offense in the garage. That's it." He was right. I was sitting there like, "You're right, aren't you?" And then he was. So Jake, shout out Jake. Scotty P says, "You think the Niners gonna numb Jimmy Garoppolo thumb every day now?" Dude, that whole story is so weird. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't even know, but I thought he threw the ball fine.
He threw it fine.
I mean, Kyle Shanahan's thing at half was he's throwing it as he normally throws it. That's what he told Aaron Andrews.
And that's what all of his teammates said.
Rinaldi.
And that's what it looked like. Mo Dollar says Dallas is 6-5 outside the division. Damn, is that true? They may be big dogs in the East, but average in reality. Damn, can't stop the run. Damn. I'm not rooting for Dallas. I'm just rooting for chaos. Mitchell better ice up this week. Well, that doesn't go well for the Niners. I think for the Cowboys, I think I'm probably going to pick the Niners this week. I don't know. Stay tuned.
The only nice thing about playing Dallas is that, I mean, and unfortunately, I'm hoping I have a light week in terms of schoolwork, but media coverage will become excessive on the Niners game because that's why I hate Dallas, right? It's just so toxic. Every day it's Jerry said this.
I know, right?
Did this. Yeah.
Well, tell your teachers that your burgeoning media empire is ramping up a little bit this week and that you'll get back to them on the office hours. Raymond Martinez Jr. says his nickname is Roller Coaster Jim. You have ups and downs, waves of terror and euphoria. All you can hope is the roller coaster doesn't go off track. He just needs one more chance, man. Just give him one more chance.
Yeah. I mean, 88 yards and no timeouts, especially after when they got the ball with like 2.5 minutes with their timeouts. Like that drive was so gross. Did anybody think he was just going to go straight down the field like that?
No. He did, though, I guess, and Kittle did. Dad Z Fitness says, sup, Vish and Grant. Do you think Kyle has some packages, red zone, something for Trey Lance, or Trey Lance never plays in the playoffs? I don't think he's going to play in the playoffs unless Jimmy's hurt. Before the game, I turned to Jake Hutchinson. I said, who do you think is going to throw more passes in this game, Trey Lance or Deebo? And we laughed. It was Deebo. Deebo Samuel will continue to throw more passes and be a bigger red zone throwing threat than Trey Lance. That's my prediction. Just because Kyle is,
they figured out their red zone offense this year. They don't need to add the quarterback run game element because they have the biggest freak in the NFL. Yeah,
and that is deadly. he scored the one touchdown, and then you to package it with a throw now? How do you stop that? You can't.
And the angle he outran, I mean, Darius Williams, who's not slow, he makes that tackle probably on every other player in the NFL. Not every other player. Every other player on the field in that game gets tackled, and Deebo scores.
Is Deebo QB2 next year? Exciting game with the win. No, but they need to keep building on this. The like he's an offensive weapon and he can do everything. He's a triple threat. It's great. Keep doing this. Like this is what the Chargers did with LaDainian Tomlinson. I love it. This is going to make him a Hall of Famer.
Shannon Sharp said this morning, I saw some clip because Undisputed posted a clip and I followed him on Twitter. He said he's watched football. I don't know. He always says the exact number of how many years he's watched. He said he's never seen anything or anybody like Deebo Samuel.
Me neither. He should legitimately get MVP votes. Almighty Juju says Victory Monday. Hi, Grant. Hi, Vish. How are y'all doing? I had a quick question. At time does Kyle speak to the media? They pushed it back to 3:30 today. 3:30 today, and I will post it immediately after my YouTube channel. The Rams messed up when McVay was in the red end zone celebrating on that second TD. Yeah. Hey, we just passed the 60-minute mark, and I have like a half hour more worth of comments. So, Vish, I'll take it from here. Why don't you go and do your homework? Thank you very much for giving me your time. Always appreciate it, man. Go do what you got to do.
Thank you so much. Appreciate coming on. I appreciate the Stafford.
Yeah,
I appreciate you guys keeping me honest on Stafford. I love it. I'm excited the Niners are in the playoffs.
Hey, don't back off on Stafford yet. He could win the Super Bowl. All right, he lost to the Niners. Garoppolo lost to the Seahawks. I mean,
if he wins a playoff game, I'm going to be happy because I feel like I was 40 touchdowns, division victory, 12-5, playoff win.
Go do your homework.
But no, honestly, though, I appreciate it. And Grant, thank you for having me on. And I hope to be back next Monday after a win against Dallas.
Yeah, these Mondays with Vish are getting so big. There's 3,300 people watching right now. I think they would just go on indefinitely with people leaving. So we're going to cap it at 60 minutes. I'll, of course, take the rest of the questions. But Vish, thank you.
Yes. And one last thing. Me and Blake, I saw him in the comments section saying something. But we will be back sometime soon. It's been a little bit of a hiatus. And I'll also maybe if I get a minute, Grant, also if you're welcome to join, but I know you usually take nights off, do a Twitter Spaces. I haven't done one in a minute, and we can talk more casually about Stafford and everything.
That would be fun. Maybe after this Dallas game, I'm going to be in Dallas by myself. So anyway, Vish.
Let's do it.
All right, man. Have a good one.
You too. Thank you.
Peace. All right, guys, let's finish up. I got Eric. I can't just have Vish like, hey, Vish, give me 3 hours and just sit there while we go through comments. I mean, it's a little much to ask. He's doesn't do this for a living. I'm glad Deebo threw the ball to Jennings because Jimmy wouldn't have hit him. It's a dime. We asked Deebo about it after the game. He was like, yeah, it was a dart. That was a dime. It was. He was very proud. He got hit when he threw the ball too. Dak is 0-5 when the Cowboys run for less than 100 yards. We stuff the run and create long drives on offense. We can win. Yeah, I'm starting to think the Niners are going to win this game. I mean, it's not a certainty because they have an arsonist at quarterback who also puts out the fire after he starts it. I mean, I don't really feel super confident picking the Niners to beat anyone with Jimmy Garoppolo, who lost to Colt McCoy this year. But yes, I do kind of think the Niners should win this game. They probably will be underdogs too. Kyle has never been super short with the media the longer the season has gone on. Like he was on the hot seat or someone was with a playoff spot locked up. Does he open up more and doesn't seem as short? I think so. He was in a great mood yesterday, wasn't he? Like he didn't give me any type of attitude when I asked a question. I asked, it was kind of a softball. Like, how resilient is your team? They were 3-5. Now they're in the playoffs. You were down 17-0. You won. And he gave me a lot of eye contact, smiled, answered at length, which he hasn't done in months with me, even when I asked, innocuous questions. So maybe I do think that while he may not have been on the hot seat, like a lot of people were, and he was responsible for that. And they might have brought in someone to oversee him, which is, kind of like being on the hot seat. Now you got a boss. I want a boss. He's his own boss over there. That's what you want to be in life. If you've been your own boss, you know what I'm talking about. Grant, going into Dallas this week, clear eyes, full hearts. Can't lose. I'm on season 5. Almost done with that show. Tim Riggins, Coach Tyler. I watch that show so much that anytime I go out places and say thank you, I do it like Coach Taylor. I'm like, thank you. I'm not from Texas, but now I'm like Derek Carr, where I just like throw in a little twang just to be obnoxious. I don't know why Derek Carr does that. He's from Bakersfield. Damn, Vish, you sound like Stafford's. Oh, man. Well, beautiful, unbelievable throws. How beautiful was that completion to Ambry Thomas? Well, he's gone. Sorry, you guys aren't going to be able to get at Vish anymore about his affinity for Stafford. But I think you'd like Stafford if he was on the Niners and he could hand off and have a run game. Dallas dropping 50 points on a terrible team is not impressive. Niners have beat much tougher opponents than Dallas. Also, Wisnowski injured is concerning. Yeah, but you know the Niners played the Eagles and scored like 17 points. Dallas played them and scored 50. I think the Niners can beat Dallas, maybe should beat Dallas, but I wouldn't just write off Dallas. Like, the Niners do have an arsonist at quarterback. Don't discount that. The game plan this week is simple. Don't have turnovers and run the ball. Dallas is winless when they don't get 100-plus rushing and are 24th per rushing on D. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good call, Jose. It's pretty clear. Just stick to the script and win the way they normally win, Niners-wise. Chris Royal says we have a disadvantage when it comes to the quarterback position regardless to who we play. We have the worst quarterback in the playoffs. Play like yesterday, we're good. Not if Jimmy plays like yesterday. Jimmy's going to have to play a lot better than he played yesterday. And I do think having a big disadvantage at the quarterback position is going to get the Niners at some point. The Dark Azrael says, who is going to start at DB because Norman and Johnson? It's going to be Mosley and Ambry, who are actually both, they both intercepted passes yesterday. So that's not a bad option. And K1 should come back. Niners could have home field advantage in the Super Bowl. Ha! Good point. I hadn't thought of it that way, since that is like their home away from home. Orium, thank you. Ant-Man says, seeing Packer fans not wanting to see the Niners. Okay. I can't speak on that, and I don't know what it means. Thank you for becoming a member. That was nice, LLJ. Thank you for becoming a member, Domic. Appreciate you. Orium, thank you again for the $2. Tyler, very generous, $5. Thank you. I'm a Niner fan from Texas where everyone I know is a Cowboys fan. My house is going to get a little hostile. I just think it's cool to have the Niners and the Cowboys playing a playoff game. When I fell in love with football, it was watching the Niners play the Cowboys in the playoffs when Steve Young was the quarterback and Deion Sanders was the corner and Jerry Rice was on the team. That's like the ultimate football rivalry to me, Niners and Cowboys. And it's back. It's for the first time since I was 6. I think it's quite cool. I get to cover it now. When I was 6, I rooted for the Niners. Now I make snarky jokes on Twitter. That's true, though. Jan Evander says, we'll see how scoring 3 points in the first half goes against Dallas, Tampa, and or Green Bay. Jimmy is consistently inconsistent. Yeah, that's a great point. It worked against the Rams, but the Niners own the Rams, just like the Seahawks own the Niners. The Niners are going to have to do better. Jimmy's going to have to do better than 3 points in the playoffs. In the first half. Rebirth of the 90s SF boys playoff rivalry. Yeah. The rebirth of the 90s, the rebirth of Slick. The 90s were a good time. Vish doesn't know. He was technically born in the 90s, though, I think. 99, technically. Niner gang, our house. Stop it, Steve. LOL. Stop it, Steve? Happy New Year to you and Vish and all the GMs in the chat. Niners should beat the Cowgirls, but it gets tougher after that. Greetings from San Diego. Yeah, I just think they're going to run out of gas at some point because they're going to have to play 4 road games in a row, which is brutal. Who's ever done that? 4 road games in a row from the West Coast? Now, the first one to LA is not that much, but I know I'm going to be tired if I have to do it, and I don't have to play the games. John, thank you. I'm looking at that like, man, that's a lot of flying. I'm already tired. Rams finally showed up and bullied the Niners the first half. Just need to finish it. Rams, NFC West champs. Vish. Wow, the Ramelia Sports Report is happy and pumped up about what happened yesterday. Your team is going nowhere. They're frauds. They should be embarrassed that they let a 17-0 lead slip away. I don't see how you spin that as a positive the next day. That was pretty weak. Wolf Life Wild says the first interception by Jimmy Garoppolo looked like a TD to Benjamin. He beat the safeties and corner, but Garoppolo got hit as he threw. Niner gang, thanks, Grant and Vish. I will watch that. I will watch for that in the film breakdown tomorrow with Jack. Got to see. Jimmy, is he any good? Yeah, he's any good. That's what he is, any good. I missed the post-game injury report. I know Tart and Huff got hurt. Do you have any details? Shanahan will have the details in an hour and a half. I Sorry, but they got to have MRIs and stuff. We'll find out at 3:30. OBJ played the best pass defense versus Cooper Kupp. Yeah. OBJ is washed. How about that? It's eye-opening to watch rookie Ambry Thomas improve with playing time. The same would have happened with Lance. Oh, well, take it as far as you can with Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah. Yeah, it's too bad. It just seems like this team is so loaded that they should be better than 10-7. They should be a legit Super Bowl contender, and they're not because – finish that sentence. I don't know. You tell me. Or maybe they are. I don't know. We'll see what happens. The Niners, hard to write them off after they just won that game the way they did yesterday. Rams quarterback was Chris Everett, if you recall. That's right. Good point. Sorry, I was born in 88. That was before my time. You have the best job. You were calling for Kyle's job all year, but everyone forgets because you're giving him love. Like you bought a Parsons jersey for game day. I know, right? Slick, right? I was like, oh, I got to get out in front of this one. No, I never said fire Kyle Shanahan. If you can find me saying that the Niners should fire Kyle Shanahan, I'd like to see it. What I said was if they missed the playoffs, they should trade him. I said that a lot of times. They didn't miss the playoffs. So I say they shouldn't trade him. I'm being consistent here. He can stay for now. I'm just saying. I'm not a Jimmy stan, but he def balled out. Still thinking he's gone next year? I don't know, man. He might win the Super Bowl. Let's see what. Yes, I think he's gone next year, but let's see how the season ends up. I thought he was going to get benched at halftime last week, and then he came out and, was clutch at the end. I wasn't for Deebo. We wouldn't be talking about playoffs, Jimmy garbage until the end. That's kind of what I'm trying to say, but hard to say that today. We'll talk about that later in the week when we can be a little bit more real. Can the Niners pressure Dak the same way they pressured Stafford? Maybe. But I think Dak can move a lot better. What I thought from Stafford is he didn't move well at all. Once there were bodies around him, he was like bracing for contact. He was a little Jimmy-ish. Wasn't impressed with his athleticism. Alejandro, thank you. Thank you. Finally, NFC West predictions. SFLA Tampa Bay thoughts? I mean, I don't know. I think Green Bay is going to win. Tampa's going to win. Maybe the Niners will win. Niners probably have to go to Green Bay next week if they win. That'd be tough. Vish, don't try to talk your way out. That's hilarious. You say what has proven you wrong. How about most interceptions in the league? How about throwing the game away yesterday? Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm not as big of a Stafford guy. He did make nice throws, but what is up with those interceptions? His last few games, he had 6 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Now, again, they don't have a run game, so they're asking him to do too much, and he's doing too much. I think 40 touchdowns, just give him a run game, and he doesn't have to force those passes and throw them many picks. So I see it from Vish's perspective, too. Thank you for the donation. Niners have been in playoff mode since losing to the Titans. It's true. Cowboys may have a better quarterback, but we are battle-tested, and Cowboys ain't ready. That's another good reason to pick the Niners, which I'm leaning toward doing for all the reasons we've talked about. Going through the chat. Here we go. David at 142. That was 20 minutes ago. Thank you. I'm catching up. Seth at 143 says Kyle created McVay LaFleur. Niners were 6th seed in 2012. No. The Niners won the division in 2012. They were the 6th seed in 2013. And they did have 3 straight road games, and they lost the 3rd one. They ran out of gas. They won in Carolina. They won in Green Bay. They went to Seattle. They were winning in the 4th quarter, and they ran out of gas. So maybe this team can have a little bit more in the tank. I am getting some 2013 vibes with this team in the sense that it's like the second run. 2012 was kind of like 2019. You went to the Super Bowl. You won the division. You lost. And then this is the revenge tour or whatever you want to call it. And you're not as good. You were a wild card team, but you still have pedigree. You win some close games, and they might just go back to the NFC Championship game. Who knows? Keep Robbie as a punter and kicker. Bye, Mitch. Yeah, that was funny. He's a better punter than Mitch. I bet he is going to give Mitch crap about it too. The only thing Jimmy is saving this year is the draft pick we will receive when we trade him next season. Lance is the future, period. Yeah. Only Jimmy Garoppolo can throw 1 touchdown, 2 picks, and have people being like, well, maybe we should bring him back. No. Grant, Jimmy Ward voice. Grant, what a freaking win. Love the content all season with Vish and all the guys. On to Jury's World. Yeah, man, I just bought my ticket. I'm going. Where is Jeff Wilson Jr.? Is he in the doghouse? I don't know, another 21 carry game for Mitchell. If he has to miss a game, they're not winning a playoff game without him. I wish they would use both. I don't see why Mitchell, what Wilson did. Jim holds himself hostage like Sheriff Bart in Blazing Saddles. Just holds himself hostage. That's funny. Thank you, Stealth. Appreciate you. Moving up. Got here. How about Jawan Jennings? What a beast. Yeah, as Vish said, best blocking wide receiver in the league. Going to the playoffs really makes your problems disappear. I wouldn't say that. You guys thought they were going to be 13-4, 12-5 minimum division winners. They should be. They underachieved this year. And if they go, one and done in the playoffs, lose first round, you're not going to be happy. Maybe you will. Come back next week if they lose to the Cowboys and tell me how happy you were that they just made it. I think they're going to have to do some damage for you guys to feel like this was a successful season. Fish, I clearly disagree about Staff. I'm sorry. He left a long time ago. Been giving you a hard time. Just wanted to say I enjoy listening to your analysis and look forward to Mondays because of you. I will tell him that you said that, Stilo. I promise. That's my fault for being so backlogged on these comments. Let's not forget Lance haters. Jimmy G doesn't even get the chance to be the hero if Lance didn't ball out in Houston when Jimmy and his thumb quit. Ooh, that's true. Lance had to do his part. And if the Niners win the Super Bowl, they wouldn't have made it without Lance winning that game that he won. So it is a team effort. Bono says, trivia answer, 2001 Ravens, 2006 Steelers, 2008 Giants, 2011 Packers. Sorry, I asked the same question from two separate accounts on accident. We got it wrong. Ravens, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, New York, Green Bay. That's East Coast, East Coast, East Coast, Midwest. West Coast team's never done it, but maybe the Niners could be that first team. It's just stinks that they had the Rams game week 18. It's not just 3, it's 4. 4 straight, essentially, road playoff games. Give John Lynch his flowers. Ambry Thomas and Colton McKivitz came in clutch in these games. John, let me give you your flowers. You deserve. And no, you're right, Jay Christopher. I do. He gets his flowers. All of a sudden, that draft class looked a lot better. Got a good quarterback, too. Jamaican boy says Stafford did his best Tony Romo impersonation. Still a good quarterback and great arm talent. 2 things Jimmy Garoppolo is not. Jimmy isn't hurt. He helped alignment up with his throwing. Man, I saw Jimmy Garoppolo give so many daps and high fives and pounds yesterday. I was like, dude, don't you have doesn't it feel like it's ripping off your, didn't you say it's really, I don't know. Anyway, glad to see he could manage it. Tough guy. Jimmy played like what we expect. He played exactly like he played in Tennessee. The difference is Ambry Thomas had an interception at the end. It's kind of interesting. Just look at their numbers. The exact same performance, 2 starts in a row. Ward predicts Ambry will be a superstar. Thoughts? He has he might be. He's 6 feet tall. He runs a 4.3, long arms. Now, it's a little early to say it, but he does have the traits to be elite, which is why they drafted him. I hate Dallas, too, as a Niner fan since the late 80s. Dallas always been putting up the points the last few games. Can the Niners D match up? It seems like yes. Right now, the Niners D can stop everything. Good pass rush, good run defense, good coverage. Yes. Grant, man, I love you, man. I say the Niners win this upcoming game. Cowboys can't match the physicality of the Niners, and their division blows. Oh. Niners playmakers, Cowboys playmakers, take my money. Thank you. I will, Steve. I'm convinced you guys are making really good arguments as to why the Niners are going to go into Dallas and win. I'll be there to watch it. I'm sort of expecting to see that. This is what Jimmy does. People talk bad about him, then he comes up clutch. Then people praise him, and he falls on his face. Y'all are setting him up. Agree, Aaron. Niner fans, have some self-awareness here. Don't do this to Jimmy again. Don't do this to him again. Sydney, thank you for the $2. That was nice. Very, very nice. 155, getting closer. Grant, do the Jimmy pump. Only because you gave me $10. He didn't do it as much yesterday, though, but only 3 sacks. But when he gets sacked a lot, it's the hesitation. I don't know where I got that from. I'm going to do that. I'm going to ask him one time if he ever seen me do it and what he thinks. McVay in the end zone yesterday looked like a child on Christmas till Kyle ran his presence over with a lawnmower. Well put, Steve. Lawnmower is a nice visual. The Cowboys always get hype when they play in a trash division. I'm with Vish. They're all you hear about, and then they get knocked out in the first round. Yeah, right, because all ESPN's going to hype them up so much this week. It'll be interesting to see if the Niners win. Tony says here's $1. Thank you, Tony. 158. Russell, $1. Thank you, Russell. Mauricio, 25. Thank you. How good is our secondary if the Shark plays with E-Man and Ambry Thomas? Also, I hope Tart is not injured. When healthy, it's a solid secondary. No weak link. Josh Norman was a weak link. Dante Johnson's a weak link. Mosley solid. Ambry Thomas is apparently solid. Tart solid. Ward solid. K1 solid. Solid. And then when you have that great front seven that stops the run, gets the pass rusher, rushes the quarterback, and makes it offense one-dimensional, then a solid secondary becomes good, which is how it played yesterday. It's crazy. Jimmy gets all the credit for the win yesterday, and nobody's praising the defense. What if Thomas didn't make that interception? Yeah, like Jimmy just put the game in the hands of the defense. Or maybe Kyle did, whatever. 3rd and 7, 1 yard throw to Kittle. Like, okay, you're not even going to put throw the ball in the end zone. So you're just going to kick a field goal and hope the defense stop. Because once you give the ball back to the Rams, they score a touchdown, you lose. Game over. And in Tennessee, the Niners defense let Tennessee go right down the field, score. They could have given up another field goal and the game could have been a tie. Anyway, Ambry Thomas is the main reason the game was sealed. Jimmy had some clutch moments, but he didn't put the Rams away. He threw a 1 yard pass on 3rd and goal from the 7. Hey, Grant, I'm a different Vish. Oh, what's up, Vish? But NFL.com just said Kupp's is the most valuable non-quarterback. They don't give enough credit to Deebo. I wonder why. Kupp's got that golden boy look. I don't see how you watch him on the same field and say, yeah, I want Kupp. Kupp's good, though, but I'll take Deebo. Maitland Eagle says Niners need to prepare all week for Micah Parsons. He is a game wrecker, could easily swing this game. Yes. Yes. That's another reason they got to run the ball and kind of do what they did against the Rams. Do you think Jimmy G praise is overblown right now? I haven't heard what the praise is. If you're saying that he's the reason they won yesterday, that would be a little much. But if you're saying that he, was a reason they won, then yeah, that's not overblown. If SF wins the Super Bowl and PSJ plays well, is he worth a first? PSJ? What? PSJ? What are you talking about here? Who the hell is PSJ? I don't know, man. I'm sorry. I'm lost. My bad. Gonna play Dallas win, play Green Bay win, Tampa Bay win. Simple as that. Then take it home in the second home against Mahomes. We can beat and lose to anyone in the NFL. I agree with that last sentence. They can beat and lose to anyone in the NFL. It's true. The number 1 seed in the AFC is Tennessee. The Niners were right there at the end with them. And they lost twice to Seattle. Don, thank you. Thank you. Sorry if I missed this, but have you adjusted your grade for the linebackers after reviewing Greenlaw's mistakes? No, good point. No. I'll have to go back and watch. But I want to give Tom Compton more credit. The Niners don't win this game if he doesn't recover that fumble deep in the Niners territory. Like, Tom Compton saved the season. The Niners are 7-9 with him in the starting lineup, and that fumble recovery is as clutch as anything that happened this season for the 49ers. Shout out Tom Compton. I know you didn't ask about him, but that's what I wanted to say. I actually heard there's a chance for the Super Bowl to be played in Dallas due to COVID. Yeah, I don't know what the update is on that one. Comment on McVay and all in the end zone. Yeah, clown. Got what he deserved. When do you think teams will realize they can't always double or chip Bosa because it's letting the rest of the line go crazy? How do you see other teams balancing that? I don't know. I guess at a certain point, you got to pick your poison, right? Let Bosa beat you or let Armstead and Arden Key get you. It's a tough one. I don't know if there's a right answer right now. The answer isn't go empty backfield, 5 offensive linemen blocking. You want to probably have like 6 and 7 people in there blocking extra max protection. Niners are 22-1 when they run 30 or more times since 2019. Well, they should keep doing that. Do you think Jennings has such a good game because Kittle was being doubled? Yes. He was wide open a lot of the times. But that's the whole thing. If you have Ayuk and Deebo and Kittle, that fourth guy no one's going to be looking for him. So Kyle can go to him in certain situations and feel like he's going to be wide open, which he has been. If they make a long run in the playoffs, do you think Kyle tries to run it back next year with a healthy Mostert? I didn't think you're going to say a healthy Mostert. Maybe. I don't know if he's ever going to be healthy again. I thought you were going to say Jimmy Garoppolo, and they just might. I mean, honestly, if they win the Super Bowl this year with Jimmy Garoppolo, are they gonna get rid of him? I don't think so. But I don't even think they expect that. Holger says, still have Cowboys flashbacks from the 90s. Mitchell's running reminds me of Emmitt Smith in the day, but he's on the right side this time. Interesting comparison. What do you make of Johnson starting over Lenore? Lenore was inactive because he was on the COVID list. He tested positive on Wednesday and couldn't get off it in time. I know they both were free agent signings, but the Niners should have traded Solomon Thomas for Arden Key years ago. I can't believe the Raiders thought they were upgrading by getting rid of Arden Key and bringing in Solomon Thomas. They must feel so dumb right now. When Von Miller was on Dancing with the Stars, his dance partner complained about his persistent flatulence. Maybe that's why he's jet propelled. Is that true? Really? He was farting with while dancing with the girl? That's wow. Why didn't the Rams test the Niners secondary deep as much throughout the game as other opponents? Because every time they tried to throw the ball down the field, Stafford either got sacked or threw a pick. Saying, I mean, they weren't getting like the easy defensive pass interference penalty that just bail them out. Juwan Jennings is everything Jalen Hurd was supposed to be. Agree. Big slot receiver Shanny has always wanted. Can't like line up and play running back, but don't need him to because Deebo does that, and he is a good blocker. Show me some heart, some love for Arden Key's left tackle. Great job. Yeah, Arden Key's really good. He's a hell of a player. Really has stepped up. Could the Niners be the 2011 Giants, decent enough to win it all? I've heard people say that for the last month or two, and Vish and I have been comparing Jimmy Garoppolo to Eli Manning. Now, that 2011 team had a really good pass rush, but the Niners pass rush has stepped up big time the last month, so maybe. Who has the bigger advantage? Dan Quinn knowing Shanny's offense or Shanny knowing Quinn's defense? I don't know, but 2 years ago when they faced each other, Quinn had the advantage. Quinn outcoached Kyle, and the Falcons beat the Niners when they had no business beating the Niners. The Falcons were trash, and the Niners were a Super Bowl losing team. So, I don't know. Jimmy worth the first if they win the Super Bowl trade value? No. Maybe. I don't think so. I don't care what Jimmy Garoppolo does. He's, to me, the same quarterback every week in my eyes. Maybe some team sees differently, but we'll see. I'll do some investigating, see if I can find out what his trade value is. Guys, the show is over. Hour and a half. Thanks for watching. Shanahan talks in an hour and 15. I'll be on that call, and I will post it on my YouTube channel. Check it out. See you then.